Well, the Indianapolis Colts have done it once again, this time to the Tennessee Titans in a game 38-14 that was never really in any doubt. And I don't want to be the guy that comes here and brings down the energy. Like, I don't want to take this moment of celebration away from the fans, but perhaps what I'm about to express, maybe you feel somewhat the same way. There is not a single point in this game, not a single moment that I was excited at all. Like, I did not celebrate once during the course of the 4 quarters that the Colts played against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. Like, I was just sort of watching that thing, arms crossed, nodding my head, and just seeing what I was seeing. And it's not because I didn't find the performance impressive. It was. And it's not because I don't think the Colts played well. They absolutely did. But my expectation has shifted so much, so quick for this team that a 38-14 win over a division rival isn't even something to celebrate right now, at least not the Tennessee Titans. Like, it's kind of just like, yeah, of course, that's what they should have done to that team. And I say all of this with positivity, with optimism, but also to understand, or rather to kind of get across the understanding, we are not here for these types of victories anymore if we're Colts fans, right? Gone are the days where we get excited about a win over the lowly Titans. We are in this fucking thing to win it all. We are here for all the marbles. Like, as fans, we're already thinking past the bye week. We're thinking about the Chiefs. We're thinking about those games against the Jaguars and the Texans, neither of which we've played yet. We're thinking about the Seahawks. We have our eyes on something more. Like, you have to understand, right now, despite the fact that, again, I think a lot of you guys are feeling like me. I don't think you're really all that ecstatic about that game. The Colts right now are 7-1. They sit alone the top of the AFC. They have wins over teams in the Chargers and the Broncos, who are two of the better teams that the AFC has to offer. They're the best offense in football. They're 2-0 in the division with 2 blowouts. Jonathan Taylor and Quentin Nelson, the Legion of Boom over there, just raining terror across the team, absolutely blowing up every team they play against. And yes, we're happy with it. Yes, we're enjoying it, but we're not even excited about it anymore. Like, is it just the status quo? The Colts have completely shifted the paradigm here. What a difference a year makes for this team. Last year, we expected to blow it in games like this. This year, we expect to blow people out. And even when we do, we find a way to nitpick this thing. Like, the offense had a sloppy day, a bad day for the offense. 38 points, starters out in the middle of the 4th quarter. Daniel Jones with one of his worst games of the year. 21 of 29, 270-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, we have so quickly become spoiled and so quickly moved the goalpost here on what it is that we should expect from the Indianapolis Colts. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, but it does need to be recognized, right? That's all. I just want to make sure that we understand that's what this is. This isn't just what it's supposed to be. It's what the Colts have gifted us. And I want to make sure we all enjoy that gift. So when you think about what we take away from this game, it's not even about an individual performance. It's not about players. It's not about a unit. It really is, one, the things I just mentioned, but there's also 2 more things to take away from this game, and I want to talk about what they are. But before we do, you know what it is? I got to introduce the show. My name is Justin. This right here is the Ryan the Bench Colts podcast. As always, asking everyone watching and enjoying the show, go ahead, shoot a like. It's going to help me get out to as many Colts fans as humanly possible. Of course, subscribe if you want to be a part of the journey. We've made it past 4,000. Thank you guys very much. We're on our way to 5,000 over here on the YouTube channel. So if you keep coming back, enjoying what it is that we're doing, or if it's your first day here and you're happy that the Colts won, you're enjoying what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 5,000. Never miss an episode. Again, of course, audio listeners, leave a 5-star review. Fun fact, last week we had our most listened to audio episode of all time, and it's much thanks to you guys who are leaving those reviews. So if you were one of those audio listeners and you haven't done it yet, I don't beg of you. That would be ridiculous, but I do ask. Please leave a 5-star review if you feel so inclined. But of course, if not, it's fine, right? I mean, just being here, listening, being a part of the community, supporting the show, it's plenty. And if you're being in the comment section, speak English, Justin. Speak English. If you're in the comment section on YouTube, be civil with one another. You don't know what the person on the other end of the keyboard is going through today. If you disagree on something, whatever it is, take it as an opportunity to have a discussion, make a friend. We're all rooting for the same thing, and it's the Indianapolis Colts. So, back to what it is that we were talking about. We're talking about kind of my biggest takeaways from this game. And the first one is not even so much about the season, it's something even bigger, right? The season that we have witnessed up to this point for the Indianapolis Colts needs to serve as a lesson. It has to. It will all be for naught if it is not a lesson for our loudest, our most passionate, our most emotional fans, because there are a large part of you that if the decision was up to you, and some of you are going to hate me for this, but I can't help but point it out. If it was up to a lot of you, Shane Steichen would be gone. Chris Ballard would be gone. Anthony Richardson would be our quarterback, and our backup option would be Justin Fields, who has led the 0-7 Jets, the now 1-7 Jets, and is up there praising the Lord above that he won a damn football game in his post-game presser. It would have left us with the two worst starting quarterback options this league has to offer. Now, I want to be fair to you guys because it's really not even just the fans that were saying that. Like, it was many members of the medias too. But the lesson in all of this is that we need to check ourselves a bit. We need to look in the mirror and perhaps think twice before going to extremes. And that includes, by the way, takes that are happening right now about the trade deadline for the Colts, which is a conversation for later in the week. But that's a little bit of a teaser for you, of course. I don't want to isolate all of you. It's not all of us, right? Some of us, like me, were saying, no, you don't go get Justin Fields. He stinks. He's a terrible option. No, Shane Steichen didn't regress as a play caller. Such a thing isn't even possible. He just had a limited quarterback. No, Chris Ballard isn't the worst GM. In fact, he's not even a bad one. He was just dealt a tough hand and needed a quarterback to put with the roster he had assembled, which was a roster that was a QB away, a roster that was stacked, and I had been screaming it from the rooftops, right? Some of us said that once upon a time, and now all of us are saying that, okay? And mind you, when you talk about the roster, this is the same damn core of guys from last year and the year before. The same guys we had. Of course, you've added a couple of pieces, but when you talk about the guys making the biggest impact, yes, Tyler Warren's a part of it. Yes, Daniel Jones is there, but the offensive line, Quentin Nelson, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr., Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner. Must I continue? I mean, you have the core that this man, Chris Ballard, has put together, the same Chris Ballard, who many of us who have defended him have simply said it's not a roster building issue, it's a quarterback issue that the Colts have had, okay? All the talk about roster building, where is it now? Where is all the people? Where are all the people saying he couldn't put together a roster, right? That's something to just think about. It's something to think about. Another thing some of us were saying, no, Daniel Jones was not as bad as you think he is. He is an accurate passer. You've never watched him play. This is, of course, prior to the season. You're only going off what people are telling you. And no, he's not as bad as you think he is. He's never had a supporting cast like the one he had in Indianapolis. And it's likely that not only is he better than Anthony Richardson, but he is definitely better than you think he is, because quite frankly, you just haven't watched enough Daniel Jones. And when I say some of us has said this stuff, and I apologize if it sounds like I'm taking a victory lap, but some of us is me. Some of us is me. I've been saying all these things, and the reason I'm taking this victory lap is not to irritate you. It's not to make you think I'm arrogant, although I would assume that many of you are feeling that right now, particularly you guys here for the first time. But really, and for those of you guys who have been here a while, you'll know, right? This season is the culmination of everything I've been working towards since I've started this show. Every reason I made this show is being played out in front of us this season. And it's a long time coming. A lot of you guys know that I've been saying all of those things for a very long time. I've always challenged the consensus, right? I've always challenged the emotionally charged consensus because it's never rooted in reality. It's always rooted in the feelings of the moment. And finally, those of you who have agreed with me, we get to take our victory lap. Finally, we get to say, we've known this all along, that the Colts were building for sustainable success. It wasn't just about put all the chips in now and make these rash moves. No, what you're seeing is a meticulous, well-calculated rebuilding and building of this roster, a team that has been built into a juggernaut, one that is built for success beyond this season. That's what it is that we're seeing right now. So that's kind of takeaway number one right there that I feel the need to discuss is that we need to rethink, a lot of us, right? Need to rethink the way we look at these things moving forward, rethink the way we talk about this team. But don't forget, I did mention another takeaway, and this one's a lot more simple. We talked about MVP candidates, and it was only a week or so ago that everyone was talking about Daniel Jones as the MVP. And then I was here saying, yeah, he's playing great, but JT maybe deserves it even a little bit more. And just a week later, now everyone's saying that. Damn it, I was right again. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done with the victory laps. I promise victory laps over, but I can't help it. I just cannot help because I have so often gone against the grain. Like, so often have I gone against the overwhelming consensus. I could have easily agreed with all you guys for clicks. I could have made clickbait headlines. I did not do it because I was in pursuit of the truth. Okay, victory lap over. We're done. We're done. Okay? All right? Some of you have already clicked off, but some of you are still here. Back to the takeaway. We talk about all of the great things this offense is doing, from Daniel Jones MVP, Jonathan Taylor MVP, to the offensive line, to the way that all the individual pieces in this offense are contributing. It all sources back to one thing, and that's the fact that Shane Steichen right now is running away with the coach of the year, if you ask me. So to even make that point, we have to set the stage, right? Coming into the year, Shane Steichen was amongst the bottom of the league in terms of coach of the year. He was plus 3,500 coming into the year. For those of you guys who bet, you know that's basically a statistical impossibility that it would happen, right? He was top 3 in terms of odds for first coach to be fired, behind only Mike McDaniel and Brian Callahan. He is now, Shane Steichen, the favorite to win coach of the year at plus 115, and it's really a two-man race between him and Mike Vrabel, who's done a fantastic job with the Patriots. That's a good football team. Plus 225, Mike Vrabel is. And it's worth noting, in all fairness, for Shane Steichen, he really was probably a few games away from winning coach of the year in his first year with Gardner Minshew. Like, what he was able to do with the Colts that year with kind of limited resources from a quarterback perspective was pretty impressive. That's neither here nor there. Back to this season, because it's not even just about how well the Colts have played when you talk about coach of the year. Like, yes, that's the major part of the story, and ultimately he wouldn't be up for that if the Colts were not 7-1. That's what's being evaluated here. But when you take it a step deeper, like if you want to actually be someone that looks at it even deeper than that, you have to think about how challenging it has been over here in Indianapolis for Shane Steichen since last season. Think about last year when he was a martyr for Anthony Richardson. He took all the arrows for that kid, when in actuality, it was Anthony Richardson who was to blame. No disrespect. I'm not saying Anthony Richardson's a bad guy, but he was being praised and coddled by this fan base, a fan base that screams for accountability. Shane Steichen was taking all the arrows for him. Questions about his leadership ability, about the accountability within the building. And then you finally get into this season, this offseason, to make the Daniel Jones decision, to say we are going to go with Daniel Jones, knowing damn well that 95% of the fan base was going to absolutely lose their fucking mind over it, and to do it fearlessly, knowing that if it did not work out, it would mean that his job would be all but gone. To deal with all of that the way he did for this team, and for them to come out and play like they have, it's something very, very special. It's one of the most special Colts seasons I have seen in my time as a fan, which has been really all of the 2000s. And I want to keep driving the point home. When you evaluate this team moving forward, please, I beg of you, as I always have, and some of you may have been listening for years at this point. I say years. I don't know how long I've been doing this, 2 years or something like that. Some of you may have been listening from the start and get tired of me doing these things, but I hope this year, finally, I break into your brain. Do not oversimplify your stances when you talk about this team. Second guess yourself, third guess yourself, take all factors into account, because if you had done that, there would be nothing about what we're seeing now that is all that hard to believe. Is it better than we thought it would be? Sure. But is it completely out of left field? No. Not if you were looking at the entirety of the picture. And yes, I'm even talking about the excuses for Chris Ballard after Andrew Luck retired, because all of it mattered. all of it was a necessary part of the evaluation, and you're seeing the fruits of it now. Okay? So those are my takeaways from the game. I apologize if that was just like a massive, obnoxious victory lap, but I must do it. I can't help it. Like, subscribe if you have not yet. Maybe dislike if you hate the fact that I was bragging about myself. My name is Justin. This right here was the Ride on the Bench Colts podcast, and as always, go Colts.